Hi, welcome. This is Noah's Ark Nursery. I am Corrina. I am the mommy. Welcome. If this is your first time, I would like to welcome you and thank you for hanging out with us. If you're coming back, welcome back and thank you for stopping by again and hanging out with us today. Today is a very special day because it's Lions and Lambs Day. March comes in like a lion and leaves up like a lamb. I have 4 of my kiddos. Now, if this is your first time, I'd like to explain my channel. I am drama-free. I do devotionals. I glorify God first. God gets all the glory. Then I showcase my babies who are actually a reconnection to my childhood. I have something called DID, and I journal that. DID is dissociation identity disorder, and I started this because I want people to learn what it's really like to live with DID. You can see it in the movies, you can see it on television shows, but it's nothing like when you're living with it. These writers aren't living with DID, so they don't quite understand it. So when they write it, they don't write it. So I thought, you know what? Everybody journals everything on YouTube. Why can't I journal my DID journey? So I am, and there goes Jeremiah, and I don't know what he's doing, guys. Jeremiah is the other one that's in the videos, and he gets to be in the videos quite often. Jeremiah, Stephen, what are you back there doing? I think I have a funny feeling I know what he just did, which I will have to take care of while this video is uploading, because I am doing a second video for a second theme today. But anyway, he is so cute. Oh my goodness, he is so cute. But he is very ornery, very mischievous. But today, I have tried doing this video 6 other times, and I have messed up and flubbed up every time. So I'm hoping the 7th is, 7 is God's perfect number. So I'm hoping 7 is the 7th time. I thought I would do something different and just change it up on you guys a little bit. But I decided to keep it the way that I should keep it, because God will be faithful to bless if I stay faithful to him. So I was going to cut out the big person devotional today, but I decided against it. I decided to go ahead and do the big person devotional. So this is Theme Thursday, and God was faithful to somebody that we're going to read about, because I have a story for the kiddos today, for the babies today, to tell them. And as you can guess it, maybe you can guess it from the title is going to read, it's going to read Lambs plus a Lion's Den. A Lion's Den, the question mark. That is for the story I'm telling. But for now, I'm going to do a devotional which shows just how faithful God is. And that story does show how faithful God is. Okay, guys? Just saying, this shows God's faithfulness right here. This story that I'm going to read. So I'm going to do the first devotional. The devotional, actually. It's called He Promises to Be Faithful. This is Psalm 71:22a. Also, with the lute I will praise you and your faithfulness, oh my God. A mom and dad lose their only daughter 2 days before her 15th birthday. She was riding in a car that was hit by a drunk driver. Devastated, they start the long process of grieving for a child who wasn't supposed to die before they did. Several months later, they come to your church and tell you how difficult the last few months have been. The pain has been incredible for them. Then they say something that grabs you. All we have left is God. We couldn't have made it without him. He has been so faithful. I'm going to say this. I couldn't have made it through the death of my father 10 years ago without the Lord. I was grieving, but in my own way. And And I couldn't have made it through that without him. Because I didn't have. I mean, my husband lost his father when he was 12. So he understood the loss of a parent. But, I mean, I didn't have, I tried to lean on my mom, but I didn't want to lean on her because I knew she was going through a rough time. I mean, she was navigating a really hard thing. And I'm sure she had people show up for her to help. I mean, I was one of them, but she had other people too to show up and help. And that's what God does. He's very faithful in those times, but he's also faithful in our good times. He's also there in our good times to bless us. That's his faithfulness to us, his blessings to us in our good times and our bad. Just like I said, the story I'm going to read you. Read the guy, read the kids, read the babies. You begin to understand what his faithfulness is. He is helping those parents just make it from day to day. He is giving them hope that they won't hurt forever. He is sending them people to give them compassion. On days when they hurt so much they can hardly breathe, he stays right beside them. He carries them when they cannot walk and gives them smiles when they thought smiles were gone forever. Don't wait for an emergency to find out how faithful God is. He is faithful in your good times too. Be on the lookout for your faithful Father. He is faithful. I was about 10. I had fallen off my bike when I was about 8 years old. I had hit my elbow, and I hit it so hard on a handlebar that this bone came up here. I couldn't bend my arm. And there were a bunch of doctors who just wanted to cut it off. When I was 18, just cut my right arm off. But God stepped in and he was faithful. He sent a doctor who flew over to England, and there was a procedure that had just been done like 7 times. And I was the first one in the United States to get that procedure. But he flew over there, learned the procedure, flew back and did it on me. God showed up in the form of a doctor who was willing to show up for me. That's what he does. It's not always, when God shows up, it's not always you see him, you feel him. He might send somebody to you. Last year, I needed to be taken care of 24/7 when I first came home from the nursing home. My husband took 3 weeks off work. After taking that 3 weeks, we decided he had to go back to work. But they were still saying you have to have somebody with you 24/7. And I was like, okay. So I called. My mom and my stepdad came over and took care of me. My mom came over and took care of me. God put my mother there. Then after a while, God said, we don't need any of you all now. Now she needs to just get stronger again, which I did, and he made me stronger. But he was faithful. And so God is faithful in the good and the bad times. He is our faithful Father. When my father was dying, I told God, I said, okay, I'll accept the fact that my father is dying. But because I wouldn't accept it for a long time. And I accepted it. And I said, but I'm not going to be a daddy's little girl anymore. God the Father spoke. And he said, you will always be my little girl, and I will always be your I will always be your father. And he has been faithful to that. He has promised me he would be my father. And he is my father. He was my father before that. He was my heavenly father. But now he's my father. And I am still daddy's little girl. I am still a daddy's little girl. I'm God the Father's little girl. And he is a faithful father. He's been faithful to me. and he'll be faithful to you. You know, he's faithful. I mean, if you guys have a testimony you want to share in the comments, go ahead and do it. I would love to hear it, about God being faithful to you, about him keeping his promise to be faithful to you. I would love to read it. I would love for you to share it with me. So anyway, I am going to do only one. See it for yourself first. Psalm 36 verse 5. Then we are going to do what today's theme is, which is Theme Thursday. Your mercy, O Lord, is in the heavens. Your faithfulness reaches to the clouds. And we're going to read a story about God's faithfulness to one person who was faithful to him. He was faithful to him in a time when he really needed him to be there. His protection. So, the first thing I'm going to do is show you which babies I have with me today. Sorry, I'm starting to say kiddos for some reason, and they're babies. Well, Mariah's not. She's a toddler, so she doesn't consider herself a baby. No, I don't, Mommy. I am a big girl. I am a big girl. Okay, you're a big girl. Okay, now, the three that I have laying here on the sofa are, this is Mabel, and Mabel's got on her sleeper. Now, they all have sleepers on, guys. She is in a lamb sleeper. She has a sheep on it, as you can see. Mariah is in a lamb sleeper. This is considerably lighter than Mabel's. Mabel gets colder faster. Mariah has on a sheep, a little lamb, with all sheep all over it. And as you can see on her feet, I want to show you this, guys, because I love these. Look, there's little sheep on her feet. Let me straighten out her feet and show you, so you guys can see. The little lambs on there. Yes, Mommy. No, read it the story, Mommy. I want to hear the story. I know, you like to be read to. For those of you who this is your first time meeting Mariah, Mariah loves to read. Mariah, did we name the lamb yet? Yes, we did, Mommy. I'm going to wait down. Okay. And then I have Mr. Matthew. Just to tell you, Mr. Matthew is going away for a little while, but he's coming back completely weighted, and his arm is going to be fixed. I am sending him out to California to Auntie Kimmy, and we would like to thank Auntie Kimmy. I will thank her in a proper way, because she is just wonderful. She has DID like I do, guys, just to tell you. She is in a sleeper with lions on it. There's trees, there's rainbows. This is more of a Noah's Ark sleeper, I think, as you guys can see. And his just have the feet in it. Nothing fancy. But anyway, he is going away along with Miss Madeline to be reweighted, and she's going to fix Madeline's legs for me. And she's going to fix his shoulder, because right here his arm is need of repair here, as you can see. His arm is off. So she's going to fix all that. Once he's fixed, clothes will lay better on him. I promise you. Clothes will lay better on him. But anyway, right now, the kid, they want to hear a story, guys. Oh yeah, I can't forget the one that's sleeping in her little bouncer here. So I'm going to turn this around and show you Miss Tammy Ann, who is sound asleep in the bouncer, but she has on, I don't want to disturb her, guys, but I will show you what she has on. I will hold her up to the camera, because I can't get the camera any closer than this. She has on her little sheep sleeper that I changed her into a couple weeks ago. Of course, I changed her out of it. You guys know that. But she has on this little lamb sleeper, and in it she was counting sheep. So she is sleeping. Sorry, guys. This is a bouncer that can be very, very difficult to deal with. But anyway, so So anyhow, I am going to read a story to you, to the babies today about, let me put her Passy back in because she will wake up and then she will have to count sheep again. So, and I will put the pillow back on her, put her down so that she is nice and safe in the bouncer, guys. Sorry. I got to make sure she's nice and safe in the bouncer. Okay, she's nice and safe in the bouncer now, and she's bouncing. But I have a story for these three to tell. So we're going to come over here, and I have these three here, and I'm going to tell them a story. Okay, Mommy. I am telling them Daniel in the Lion's Den, if you haven't guessed what story it is yet. And it's out of this book. It's a Bible readers. It's got 3 stories in one book. It's got Noah and the Ark and Daniel in the Lion's Den and Esther the Queen. So you guys can see that. I'll read Esther the Queen another time. But, okay, Daniel was a good man. He loved God. King Darius liked Daniel. Darius gave Daniel the best job. A lot of men had wanted the best job. They had got mad at Daniel. They wanted to hurt him. The men spied on Daniel. They saw him praying to God, not to the king. Mommy, why did they have to pray to the king? We pray to God. Well, that's because King Darius made a decree that they had to pray to him for so many days. And these men are the ones who tricked King Darius into doing it. They told the king, Daniel broke the law about praying. King Darius was sad. He said, send Daniel to the lion's den. There's them spying on Daniel. May your God save you, Daniel, said King Darius. Men put Daniel in the den. Daniel saw hungry lions. They were on his left. They were on his right. Daniel prayed to God for help. A big rock was moved. It covered the hole into the lion's den. King Darius went home. He worried all night about Daniel. The lions might eat his friend, but Daniel knew God was with him. God was with him, Mommy? Even with all those hungry lions? Oh, that's not good, Mommy. No, it's not. God did not want Daniel to be hurt, so an angel was sent to help Daniel. The angel shut the lions' mouths. All night the lions were good. All night the angel kept watch in the lion's den. God was faithful to Daniel, Mommy. He saved Daniel's life. Yes, he did. He did. He was very faithful to Daniel. You're right, Mariah. Daniel still had lions on his right. He still had lions on his left. Daniel trusted God to save him. God knew that Daniel was a good man. He kept God's law. That is why God sent the angel to Daniel. He's faithful to those who are faithful to him. Look at that, guys. The angel and the lions there. Let me see if I can get this all in. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get all the pictures in and the babies in at the same time. There it is. God protecting Daniel. Okay. The next day, King Darius ran to the lion's den. Has your living God saved you? He cried. Yes, Daniel said. God cares for me and he kept me safe. The king saw Daniel was not hurt. Now come out, my friend, said the king. Then King Darius made a new law. Daniel's God is good and true. Now all my people must honor Daniel's God. He is truly the living God. And Daniel, God was faithful, wasn't he, to Daniel? Yes, he was, Mommy. Now can I tell everybody what I named my little lamb? Yes, you can. The little lamb that is new to the nursery. God protected Daniel, didn't he? Yes, Mommy. That's why I'm going to name the little lamb after Daniel. So we're going to name him Danny. This is Danny the lamb. This is Danny, our little lamb in the nursery, our newest addition to the nursery, to Noah's Ark nursery, to the Ark. So, thank you guys for being so good during the devotional and during the story. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That is all for this particular video. I am doing one more today. I will have 2 more babies today from my nursery to share with you, and that is going to be for a different tag, different theme. So I hope that you guys can join me for that. I thank you for joining us and for hanging out with us today and for listening to our devotional and listening to how God was faithful to one man who was faithful to him. That is just a great example of God's faithfulness, guys. Daniel in the lion's den. God was faithful. He showed up for Daniel. Daniel was faithful to the Lord. He was faithful to God. He loved God and he wanted to be faithful to him. And God loved him and wanted to be faithful to him. And he was. He protected him. He showed up when Daniel needed him to. That was faithfulness. So that is our video for today. Please, if you have a testimony about God's faithfulness to you, please don't be hesitant to leave it in my comments. Sorry, guys. Because, God has been faithful to me all throughout my life, even though at times I thought he wasn't there. He really was. I'm going to say this. God was faithful to me as a child, as a 9-year-old child. While I was being, and I'm going to say, not molested, but I'm going to use what it really was. While I was being raped at 9. God allowed my mind to go into different parts. He sent. My altars are not curses. They were blessings from a faithful God. Yes, I have to reconnect with my childhood. But I'm having fun doing it. This is a lot of fun, guys. This is awesomely fun. And I'm reconnecting with my childhood. But he sent altars, one of which would end up living my life for 5 years. One of which that same altar took that sexual abuse for me. And the abuse that followed. I was sexually abused in a Christian school. I was blamed for it. But God was faithful because I didn't do anything wrong. He was faithful and he showed up for me. That is why I have DID. Because God showed up. Yes, I'm in therapy. And I will be doing a live DID video. Okay, I'm going to just say this before I end. We are going to schedule the live DID video probably next week. I had a lot to tell my therapist this week. He had off last week. We had off last week because he had something happen in his church. So I'll do it next week. Next week will probably be the first thing we'll do before I even get into how my week was, how they were, how they're doing. Because I know how they're doing. I know Mabel was just out. She was a very good girl in the car, though. And I know she was out. Now, sometimes I don't always know when they come out. But I knew she was out because I heard Mama when I was coming out of my head. Because what Mama did is when I wouldn't fall asleep, she got frustrated, took me back in my head. And she said, you got to get some rest because you're tired. And brought Mabel out. And we were in the car. So I fell asleep. And Mabel came out, and Mabel was watching because it was countryside that we were going through anyway. So she got to see all the cows and horses and whatever else was in the pasture. It's there. And when I was just like waking up in my head, Mama said, "Okay, now Mabel, you got to come back." And so Mabel came back and let me come back out of my mind. I will tell you that, just to let you know, guys, I am never out when they are. If they're out, I'm in my head, enjoying my own little world. But that was a blessing from God, and that was God showing up and being faithful to me. that was just God's faithfulness. So he was faithful when I was about to be hurt. He sent me at least 3 angels that we know of. I probably have more that are asleep. We don't know about the other ones. There's 3 very main active ones, though. They're very active. And Mabel, who Mabel is named after, just to tell you guys, this one is named after her. So anyway, oh boy, it's my phone. I'm going to end this. I hope you guys have a blessed and wonderful day, and I will see you all in a little while. See you later. Bye, guys.